Hi, everyone. Welcome to our March 2023 Ask the Expert interview series. I'm excited to have with us today Amanda Smart, the Executive Director, and Misty Ronau, the Marketing Director of the Colon Cancer Prevention Project that's based here in the Louisville area. And excited to talk with them about March being Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So thank you, ladies, for being on with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Perfect. Well, as I mentioned, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and we're looking to highlight the importance of screenings for this type of cancer and to promote healthy lifestyles to try to decrease the risk of cancer. So first, I just want to ask you to tell us a little bit more about your organization and what you're doing in March to really promote.
Amanda, you want me to take that?
I'll go ahead and start it. So this year is our 20th year anniversary, and we are very excited about that. We were started by a gastroenterologist, Dr. Whitney Jones, when he was tired of people coming in with stage 4 colorectal cancer. So that is, this year's our big celebration of that. And we do have several exciting things that we're doing in March. And the top one is really the bottoms up bash, which is going to be on historically Dress in Blue Day. That's the first Friday in March. So we're going to have that at the Olmsted at 6:30. And that is a huge fundraiser that we have. And we get survivors and doctors in the community together to really just talk about what is going on right now and also celebrate life. So that is a big thing. And as far as Dress in Blue Day goes, also, I know that Baptist is having a little Dress in Blue Day at their hospital, and I believe Norton is as well. So it's celebrated kind of nationally. I'm not sure exactly how long it's been around, but that is the first week in March. And we are also going to light the Capitol up in Frankfurt blue on March 1st. And the governor is going to be doing a PSA for us, which you will see later in the month of March. Probably not the first week, but maybe the second week.
All right, awesome. So is there any work going on locally that people can get involved in, or ways that people can support the work that you do?
Absolutely. So our work would not be possible if it weren't for the community support that we receive. And that includes, financial support. We have donors who provide funding for our programming. And then we have a fantastic community of volunteers, which, they do everything from community health outreach, manning health fair tables. We have an educator who provides a mitigation program for first responders. We have a survivors program, which is like a support group and just a fantastic community in and of itself. We have Fighters Fund, which provides mini grants, to help cover expenses incurred by people who are battling cancer currently. There's a million ways to help. And Amanda mentioned the Bottoms Up Bash, which is also an incredible party. It's a fun time. We have some tickets still available if you act fast, although I'm guessing by the time this airs, will be past March 3rd. So,
but mark your calendar for next year because it is always the first Friday in March.
Oh, and we also have in September is also a big month for us. We have a golf scramble and a 5K, and those three things are our major fundraising events for the year.
Yeah, awesome. So lots of ways to support and lots of ways to get involved. Looks like you'll be doing a lot of promoting throughout the month of March. So just tell us a little bit more about colorectal cancer and some of the screenings that are available to help find this cancer.
Absolutely. And I think probably the most important thing that we can say on this podcast is that it is not an old man's disease. There's a lot of early onset colon cancer around. And so our main thing this year and the next following years is just to let people know to be aware at any age of your risk of colorectal cancer from family history, and also to be aware of the signs and symptoms. So I'll go ahead and tell you about the different tests that are available right now. We do have the IFOBT, the FIT test, and that is looking for blood in your stool. In case you're wondering what FIT test stands for, it's fecal immunochemical test. If I can say that 3 times fast, fecal immunochemical test. And so you can do that at home. It's easy, simple to use, no prep necessary. There used to be an old test for this that would pick up if you had red meat the night before, but that is no longer the case. And patients will collect the stool at home, and then they'll either take it back to their doctor or they can mail it in. So that is a wonderful option. Another test that we have is a stool DNA. A lot of people might know that as Cologuard, and that is also an in-home test. So that is for people that are average risk, like the FIT test, 45 to 75, easy, simple to use, no preparation necessary, no prep or anything like that. And that's in every 3 years, whereas the FIT test is in every year. I do also want to mention that if you have a family history of colon cancer, we do not recommend either of those tests. We recommend a colonoscopy, which is one of the other tests to talk about. And that one, is usually done at a hospital or clinic with sedation. It is a very safe test. There is a prep that you have to take, but we have a lot of great prep tips on our website. And the preps have gotten so much better over the years. And I can say that because I had a colonoscopy in high school, and then I had one a couple of years ago, and it's gotten so much better. So lots of options. And that one is usually every 10 years, but depending on what they find, if they find maybe polyps of a certain size that they remove, it may be more often than that. And I do want to mention that there is a test on the horizon. It's a early detection blood test. So we'll be hearing and seeing more of that probably in the next year or two, but it's called an MCED, multi-cancer early detection test. And that is right now just recommended for people that are 50 plus, but we might see that change, but that's kind of the future. And it is not covered currently by insurance, but you can have your doctor order that test.
And just to piggyback off of what Amanda said too, the at-home stool-based testing is just for people who are of average risk. So not people who are at high risk or an increased risk because of family history or current symptoms. If you have symptoms currently, talk to your doctor to get screened as quickly as possible. Also, another issue is people taking the at-home stool-based test. If they are positive, then they have to continue that process by having a colonoscopy to have a complete screening.
Great, good clarification there. So I know it varies depending on if you have a family history or not, but at what age should individuals get screened typically if they don't have family history or if they do?
So 45 is the age for people to be screened. Typically, it's moved from 50. Which probably a lot of people are familiar with that. But we can't really say exactly what age it would be if you have a family history. It really depends on the age of your parent. For instance, if my mother was diagnosed at 40, they usually recommend around 30, but that also can change based on how other family members, or if you do have, let's say maybe Lynch syndrome or an identifiable genetic syndrome, that might change that age. So but as long as you tell that to your PCP, your primary medical doctor, and have that conversation, they will be able to guide you and let you know when you need to get that screening.
For this type of cancer, are there any common symptoms or signs that people should look for in case they were concerned?
There are, and for anybody who needs to read over them, you can see them listed pretty clearly on our website, coloncancerpreventionproject.org. But traditional symptoms are rectal bleeding, blood in stool, change in bathroom habits, diarrhea or constipation, cramping or pain in the lower stomach, or unexplained weight loss or anemia.
And I will say I know some of those could be kind of common symptoms, right? Everybody usually feels tired at some points, but it's just to have that conversation with your doctor and make sure that you tell them everything you're experiencing and then collect your family history and not to ignore those signs and symptoms.
Yeah. And so if someone is experiencing an assortment of those symptoms, what do you recommend that they do immediately?
Immediately call their doctor and tell them about the symptoms. There, for a lot of doctors can recommend you to a direct referral for colonoscopy, so you don't have to wait and maybe wait a month to go in to see your doctor and things like that. So, and now there are a lot of great options like telehealth, where you can set that appointment up with your doctor very quickly to let them know. And that more is for people that are experiencing the early age onset symptoms. So if you're under 45, kind of, that's what you need to do. But you definitely don't want to delay seeing that doctor, because putting it off for even a couple of months can really change the stage and kind of what can happen in that situation.
It can. And of course, we know that the most important predictor of colorectal cancer survival is the stage in which it's diagnosed. And we have been, in our 20 years of existence, doing a lot of work to overcome barriers to screening and care for Kentuckians and people in Southern Indiana also. Right now, there is a program, the Kentucky Cancer Program, and through CancerLink for people who are underinsured or uninsured, to receive appropriate screening without having to worry about, the insurance or cost of it. So.
Sure. Yeah. What does your recommendation recommend to the patient and also family members of people who have just recently been diagnosed with colorectal cancer?
So that is a very scary time usually for a patient, and we do have a really amazing support group. Now, it is currently locally based in Louisville, but I think the best way, Gildas does also have an amazing support group for cancer patients, but I think just being around people that have gone through similar things and just having that community support, I think, is the first step and one of the most important things to do.
That's what I've heard from our support group members, our survivors group, over and over, is that they're not having to explain the process and procedure over and over. They're with people who've been there, done that, and are as interested in learning about options as they are. And we are the only single nonprofit organization in Kentucky dedicated completely to the prevention of colon cancer.
And so, as a part of your all's programs and services, do you all put together these support groups and different programs for cancer patients?
We have a wonderful facilitator that is a colon cancer survivor that does lead our survivor support group. And I can't say enough about her. Her name is Renee, and she is absolutely phenomenal and amazing. And as far as our programs, we work with our board and our founder to develop those.
Right. Was there any other information that you all wanted to share with us today about March being Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, or just anything about your organization?
I will say, Misty, you probably have something to say too, but for people listening, really the most important thing that you can do is just talk to your loved ones, your friends, and your family about getting screened, and just to check in and see if they know when they need to get screened. And that is so important. Just talking to people and making them aware, that multiple messaging. Hey, don't forget I tell my parents all the time, like, have you had your colonoscopy? When is your next colonoscopy? Because I know they have to be screened a little bit more often than other people. So that is something. And I always talk to my friends about it. And once you start that conversation, you really will be surprised what your friends and family will tell you and share with you. They just want someone they feel safe with to talk about. So that's what everybody can do, even if you can't donate money or time. Just talking to people about it is such a big part of it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think that opening up dialogue about testing, and I even think with family history, some of us have family members who are older, who were raised at a time where they probably weren't comfortable talking about bathroom topics. So even gathering family history can be difficult for some people, but especially today when we know that the average age of diagnosis is getting younger. It makes it more important than ever to be vigilant about that testing and overcoming barriers, everything from stigma to concerns about affording it, et cetera. Something else that I wanted to mention is as part of our mission, we do try to lobby for the access of testing and screening and resources for Kentuckians. And right now there's something really exciting. It's House Bill 180 that just passed out of committee on, I forget what day it was.
It was last week. It just passed out of the Health and Welfare Committee.
Yeah. Oh, on the 7th. Yeah. Oh, is that right? No. And it second.
I thought it was last week, maybe not.
I know. Yes. And then, yes, it says second reading to rules is today, actually. Anyway, that's big news because that is going to possibly make that bio marker screening accessible to people through insurance. So.
And if
That's
people
awesome.
want to follow up on our, I'm sorry, if people want to follow up on what we're working on as far as legislation goes, make sure they follow us on Facebook because we're always posting. And I do have to give a shout out to our amazing lobbyist, Jason Baird, who has just made so many things possible and just things more accessible for cancer patients. So just a big shout out to him. And then I do want to end with a cold hard fact, which I think is important. And that's by the American Cancer Society has said by 2030, that colon cancer is going to be the #1 cause of cancer death in 20 to 49-year-olds. So I know that is something scary, and I can't say 100% why that is, but that is just something for people to be aware and talk to their friends about.
Yeah, definitely something to keep in mind and stay in tune with your body on, and to talk to someone if you're experiencing any issues. So good to
And
know.
we don't want to be an organization that scares people. We just want people to be aware and have that knowledge.
Yeah, very good.
And I think our work is effective. We've seen huge jumps in screening rates of Kentuckians, and that brings, of course, lower rates of mortality and such. So in the last 20 years, we've made incredible gains.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we used to be next to last for screening. The state of Kentucky did 49th. And we've really seen that go up. So I'm happy to say that improvement.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you both again for being with me today and joining us on the Ask the Expert interview series. Thank you for all that you all are doing for people who do have cancer, and then promoting it, making us all aware of the work that you do and the opportunities and resources that are available to cancer patients. So thank you. And
thank you for providing us time on your platform. This is amazing.
No problem. We're happy to do it. I just give one last shout out to the Colon Cancer Prevention Project, and we will wrap it up for our March 2023 Ask the Expert interview. Thank you.
Thank you so much.